Bikepacking is a really fun and accessible way to enjoy overnight adventures on your bike, whether it's an evening down in the local woods or a self-supported multi-day or even multi-month epic to a far-flung corner of the world. Of course, going out riding for longer means you need to carry more kit, such as spare clothing, extra food and sleeping equipment. It's totally possible to do this with a rucksack, but riding with a heavy, fully stuffed pack gets pretty uncomfortable, hot and sweaty, especially on a longer ride. That's why cycle tourists have always tended to use pannier bags like this, fixed to racks firmly attached onto the bike frame. They're sturdy and they can carry a huge amount of kit, but they have a number of drawbacks. The first is that you can't fit racks to all kinds of bikes, with few mountain bikes or high-end road bikes having full rack mounts. Panniers are also pretty bulky and cumbersome, so they add a lot of weight to the bike before you even fill them. They also add quite a lot of aerodynamic drag because they increase the frontal area of the bike so much, and that also makes them more of a pain to thread through trickier or more technical trails. Bikepacking, however, has more of a focus on lightweight minimalism and the ability to go where you choose, so specific bikepacking bags have been developed to solve these issues. As you can see, this full setup of Merida bags on this Sailek's gravel bike is pretty sleek. It's not actually changed the frontal area of the bike that much, which means there's much less aerodynamic drag and much less to catch on when you're riding trickier trails. There are generally three main components to a normal bikepacking setup. Firstly, you have the front roll, then you often have a frame bag and also a saddle pack. But you can also add in other elements to boost your carrying capacity, such as these versatile and oversized cages or a top tube bag like this. Starting at the rear, the saddle pack attaches around your seat post and is held in place by straps that feed under the saddle rails. Like all of the Merida bikepacking bags I've got here, it's made from a waterproof ripstop fabric that's joined using sonic welding, so there aren't any holes around the seams to let water in. This pack has a substantial capacity of up to 21¼ litres, though as it expands and contracts with a roll top, you can put as much or as little in here as you like. As it's mounted pretty high up, it's best not to put heavy things in here, as it can cause the pack to flap about, and the shape means it's best suited to bulky things that you can pack down. So, for me, I've got my spare clothing in here along with my stove, and the fact that this bag has a side zip is really useful to access stuff, because it means I don't have to pull everything else out to access something down here. There's also this elasticated band that's great for stuffing a waterproof onto, so it's quickly to hand. We also have these loopholes at the rear, which you can thread a rear light onto, or also use with an additional strap to boost the carrying capacity. As with all of the other Merida bags here, the detailing is reflective, so you're more visible and safer at night. Moving on to the middle of the bike, and I've got the larger of the two Merida frame bags fitted here. It's got a capacity of 5.4 litres versus the 4.6 litres of the smaller version. Which one you'll pick depends on how much space you've got in your bike's front triangle. And obviously, if you're on a full suspension bike, then it might not be possible to fit a frame bag at all. Another potential issue is that you might lose access to your water bottle cages. Luckily, this Sailek's has plenty more bottle cage mounts to choose from, and I'm using a side access cage on this lower mount, plus an additional cage down by the bottom bracket here. I'm not really missing out on any water carrying capacity. Frame bags are best for storing heavier things that you still need fairly easy access to, as they keep the weight central and relatively low down. That means they upset the handling of the bike much less than weight that's high up. This one actually comes with a removable organiser and divider, so you can get everything arranged neatly, or you can take the divider out to maximise storage. The organiser is also bright yellow, which makes it much easier to see what's in there, especially in low light. As it's best to store heavier items in here, I've got my toolkit in this side along with a pump and inner tube, while the other side here has my sunscreen, wash and toilet kit, plus my canned food for dinner and breakfast too. You can also stick in a hydration bladder in here if you need. I've also stuffed my arm and leg warmers in here, so they're really easy to get if the weather starts to change as well. As the name suggests, the handlebar bag mounts onto your handlebars and is secured with padded straps that go around the handlebar itself, plus an extra one around your head tube. It's got a maximum capacity of 17.4 litres, and it uses a double-ended roll-top design, so you can get at your kit from either end. Much like the seat pack, it's well suited to bulky kit that's not that heavy, as having a load of weight on the bars can make the handling feel a bit odd. That said, you do tend to adapt over time. In this bag, I've got my entire sleeping kit, with a sleeping bag, inflatable roll mat and bivy bag all wrapped up together, along with a warm insulated jacket and woolly hat. That means that when I stop for the night, I just need to empty out the contents of this bag, put on warm clothes and then set up my sleeping kit for the night. Once again, there's an elasticated cord on top, so you can stuff extra clothing or a map, a baguette, anything you like really. And there are also some straps on the front so you can attach lightweight tent or a tarp with poles if you need. Another bit of luggage that's really useful on a bike packing ride, or indeed any longer distance bike ride, is this top tube bag. It attaches round your stem and your top tube down here, and it's a really useful place to keep any things you want close to hand. I've put some ride snacks in there, along with my phone, a battery charger for it, and also a small camera. Again, it's waterproof, so your kit will be safe inside even in bad weather. If you really need to maximise onboard bike storage, then these high capacity cages and the waterproof fork bags that come with them are really useful and highly versatile. If your bike has dedicated fork mounts, like this Silex does, then they fit securely to them. But if your bike doesn't, then don't worry, because they can also be attached with included ties and padding. You can either mount stuff directly to them, like I've done here with this large water bottle, or you can pop something inside the dry bag that's then securely strapped in to carry pretty much anything you want. Well, I hope this video has given you an overview of what bike packing bags actually are, introduced some of the features of the Merida bag range, and give you a basic understanding of how to pack the bags themselves. I should point out that everything I've said here is only a rough guideline, and if you ask 10 hardy bike packers their thoughts on what to pack and where you should pack it, you'd likely get 10 different answers. That's because what works for you depends on how long you're going for, the weather and the terrain, what you consider essential versus what you consider a luxury, personal preference in general, and 100 other variables. Like most things, it pays to experiment to get your setup dialed, which is obviously a great excuse to get out bike packing anyway. If you want to know more about the bags featured here, check the link in the description below. And I also suggest you check out our cool bike packing video featuring the Silex here. As ever, if you've enjoyed this, you can subscribe for more regular videos using the link here, and remember to click the bell icon to be notified when a new video lands. Thank you for watching, and see you next time.